Hello everybody and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions. It's time for another round of Premier League predictions. That's right, the Premier League is back. Now do not panic, I am not doing this whole video by myself. It will cut in a little bit to myself and Thomas, where we did our predictions video when I was with him at the weekend at Leeds. So it's just me on my own doing the intro bit. If you want to skip past the intro bit, because in a minute, I'm going to go over all the people that gave their predictions for whatever week it was a couple of weeks ago. But if you want to skip past that, there is a time code down below and on the screen as well. So you can just go straight to the predictions bit. But if you want to play along, and we do hope that you do, and the numbers are growing week by week for the number of people that play along in the comments with their predictions, all you got to do is just put your predictions down below. It isn't difficult. I still get tons of letters from people saying they don't know how to do it. Like this letter here. Well, actually this is an electricity bill, so that's not the point, but you get what I mean. You get what I mean. So, without further ado, let's see how everybody did on what was a brutal week of predictions, and a lot of people did not do very well. Unfortunately, starting with Paul Ridgely, Patreon backer. Not a great week for you, Paul. As I say, it was brutally tough. Only 1 point, I'm afraid. Our Brighton fan, Snyball99, didn't fare much better. Only 2 points, as did a Judy as well. Still reeling from losing that Manchester derby. I wonder what your thoughts are on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now. But only 2 points for a Judy as well. And only 2 points for our Watford fan, Roberto the Hornet. No doubt still seething, although he says he's taking it well, from Arsenal doing the dirty on Watford and scoring that goal when they should have given it back to them. Next is Shane O'Donnell with 3 points. Again, I will just reiterate, this was tough. You had the likes of Liverpool not winning, Chelsea not winning, and obviously like Norwich won for the first time. So a lot of people didn't pick up a lot of points. Patrick Silk, 3 points for you as well. Suhail Zubar, he's been a champion in the past. Only 3 points for you on this occasion. Christopher Mullins also got 3, but he did get a correct score for the Arsenal game. One of the very few people that did actually get a correct score, but he got everything else completely wrong. Final person to get 3 points is Josh Koska, our friend who's come over from the Grandstand Betters channel. Liverpool fan as well, so no doubt seething after that defeat to West Ham. Was it a foul on Alisson? Let me know. But only 3 points for you on this occasion, sir. We have a new player in town, David Redgrift. Thank you very much for playing along. Please play along on this week's round as well. 4 points for you, sir. So it may not seem like a great number, but you were quite high up the leaderboard this week. 4 points for you. Very well done. And as I say, play again this week. Manish Thapper got 5 points. Manish usually at the top of our leaderboard, so no surprise to see him there. Did get a correct score for Brighton versus Newcastle, so the greatest red card ever. Got you 3 points in that one, and he was tied, and I thought I was going to have to come up with a schemy, scummy, nefarious way to screw Robert Allen out of winning again, because he got 5 points as well, and it seemed like the longest time that it was going to be a tie at the top. A correct score for the Southampton Aston Villa game, just like me actually. And let me just say, I got 5 points this week, so I thought I was going to be in with a tie for the lead. Tom only got 1, so he was right down the bottom. So Paul Ridgely back in 1 point. You did as well as a so-called, I don't want to say expert, but I can't think of another word, so expert. But there was one person who was streets ahead of everybody else, who smashed everybody else into the ground. New player, but long-time fan and supporter and Patreon backer and friend of the channel, an all-round good egg, PJ Simpson. Great to have you on board, PJ, with predictions. 9 points. Where the hell did you pull that out of the bag? Correct score for the Manchester derby. Correct score for Brighton Newcastle. So once again, the greatest ever red card. Got you a 3 points there. Fantastic work. A winner is you. A deserved champion. Make sure, again, just to everybody else, thank you again for playing. Very, very simple to play. If you want to get involved, just put your predictions in the comments and I will give you all a shout out next week. But That is all the hot dogging and grandstanding out of the way, only for me to say, hit like, hit subscribe, and turn on that notified bell, because it's time for predictions. And we start with Watford versus Manchester United.
I mean, you think this is a huge game for Man United. They have to get back to winning ways after their last match, which they were just so bad against Manchester City. They've got to come up with something better here. They've got to beat a Watford side that look like they're probably going down. Claudio Ranieri is almost certainly going to ring the changes, but United didn't have a clue against Man City. Obviously, Harry Maguire scored against Albania, so he's back to being the greatest centre-back in English history. Marcus Rashford is slowly coming back to fitness, which is helpful. And they're still led by the effervescent Cristiano Ronaldo.
I thought some of the things you said about Rashford on Twitter were disgusting.
Yeah, sorry about that. At least I did it under my pseudonym, you know.
What a great comeback. Look, it's all been everything that can be written about Man United's game against City, and has been. They were, as Tom has already said, dreadful. And look, just a couple of things. We don't have to go on for too long. Can you believe they're keeping Ollie on? What looks like it's going to be to the end of the season now?
To me, it doesn't make sense. Like, even if you know that you're not going to bring in a new manager till the end of the season, just give it to Michael Carrick to see it through for the next 6 months. Make the point that this is not the sort of play that Man United can be having. That this is not
Mason.
This isn't forward progression. It's been one step forward, 2 steps back so many times. United have never, in Ollie's entire tenure, looked good for a whole year. Yeah. They look completely woeful now. Say what you want about Ronaldo coming in and it not being Ollie's choice, etc. He's been given a world-class side full of world-class players, and the fact that he can't get a tune out of them, there's no tactical direction. Like, it is someone's fault at the end of the day. Like, somebody has to fall for this, and he's been sat. It's like we've had this conversation every day for 3 years now. So, like, at some point, something has to change. But it won't. They'll probably beat Watford by the odd goal. I'll go with a 2-1 United victory.
Well, you can't show weakness. And Roberto, the Hornet fan, will desperately be wanting one of us to say something back in Watford. I must say, they were unlucky against Arsenal. Good save by Ben Foster on a penalty. Yeah. Arsenal bit skullduggery there of not throwing the ball back to him, so he must be pissed off about it. Did look a bit more organised. That remains to be seen if that's the level of consistency we're going to get, because they did look a bit more hard to beat, which is what Ranieri's going for. And I'm going to go for a Watford draw here. More woe for our Ollie. I'm going to go for Watford 1, Man United 1.
Let's have a bit more fun in Leicester City versus Chelsea.
Yes, the stinking garbage pile of Leicester City, Thomas, that continues week on week. Not only does it make me spit in your eye, but it also gives me a chance to talk about how overrated Brendan Rodgers is and his Leicester side. Chelsea are going to destroy them. They look like an unstoppable juggernaut unless you put Burnley in front of them. So for me, it's a cut and dry. Look, that game against Burnley is where you saw how much Chelsea missed their Lukaku as someone who could just fit it, because they created chances and just couldn't stick them away. Chelsea nick a tight game 2-1.
Yeah, I think Chelsea are going to win this. I'll go with 2-0. Leicester, the biggest problem they've got right now is that James Maddison something's gone from his game. He's kind of been their ace in the hole. He's been able to unlock defenses so well. I think Barnes has been injured. Most of their defense has been injured all year. They're finally coming back to fitness. Jamie Vardy, I mean, will his hamstrings ever stop working?
You're just making excuses, aren't you? Because the last season, Klopp didn't make any excuses for the players he was missing. So you can't make excuses for Leicester.
Jurgen Klopp has never made an excuse for anything, has he? Saint. Never complained about anything.
Aston Villa versus Thomas's second favourite club, Brighton, Hove and Albion.
Look, we're going to see the new manager balance at Villa. They're going to improve here. They've got a new manager in.
Yeah, do they? They do, Thomas. It's rather inexplicably, Steven Gerrard's taken a move, I don't know if you say up, or diagonally down, or straight parallel. But he's gone to Aston Villa from Rangers, which I don't know if it's a good move. I can't work out. Part of me thinks it's a great decision. Part of me thinks it's a big risk for him. And look, it's a weird one with Dean Smith, isn't it? It's like
They lost 5 games in a row. They decided to pull the trigger. I think there was a lot of Villa fans that were quite sad to see him go.
It's weird to have done that when in the year that they stayed up by the hair of their chin or whatever, that they had those runs abounding all over. Whereas this year,
I mean, the last Premier League video I went on that said like they had a bit of a bad end to last season, but no point. The lowest point they were at last season was 11th. It's a great season that they had, and I think a lot of Villa fans will say he deserved more time, but they've gone with Gerrard now. It's a big risk, but what do you think? Do you think he's going to get the bounce here?
Yeah, he'll get the bounce here. Brighton haven't won a game, I think, in 6 matches. They've drawn 5, lost 1. They've gone back to being the draw kings of the league. They're not offering a huge amount going forward. They seem to be dropping Neo Maupay now and playing Leandro Trossard as a false 9. To me, that's a really dangerous position when you don't have any real speed and any incisive players around him. It's not like you've got Lionel Messi cutting in off the wing for you. You're stuck hoping Alexis McAllister, who is apparently Argentine, is going to cut in and score you a goal, of which I think
Argentine name.
He's like won in his entire career. So Brighton to me are lower mid-table side. Villa are mid-table, if not kind of cusp of Europe, kind of like that 8-9 zone. I think Villa will win this 2-1.
I'm going to go for that as well. 2-1 Villa win. You've convinced me, Tom, with your wise words. And I like the way Graham Potter has decided his tactic to get Brighton scoring more goals is to play less attacking players.
I mean, that's Pep's goals, wasn't it?
Well, he is
Pep's goal for success.
He is the
English
second coming of Pep, isn't he? So, Burnley versus Crystal Palace.
I think Palace are going to win this game. Been really impressed with them under Vieira. They've made really good signings over the summer. They're playing really good football even when they lose. And I keep saying this week in, week out, Wilfried Zaha actually looks like he wants to be there, and that's the most important thing. Burnley, not great this year. Haven't strengthened in a couple years now, and they're really paying the penalty for a takeover that's cost them 40 million quid, which is the entire savings they'd made in 5 years in the Premier League. So, Palace, 2-1 victory.
I think this one's going to be a draw. I think Burnley will get a point here. I thought they were very good in the point they got against Chelsea. They obviously had to ride their luck at times, but I think with Maxwell Cornet and with Wood,
love Cornet.
I do. I really like it. And with Wood, I think they're starting to get like their act together and play a lot better. And I think they're good enough to get a point here. 1-1.
Newcastle United versus Brentford.
Well, Tom, I don't know where to start with Newcastle because we love Eddie Howe.
We do, we love
but
Eddie.
I feel like he sold his soul to the devil.
No, he most certainly
A
has.
Faustian deal.
Oh, yeah. But I think I said this in the last video. He could now be at Newcastle for the next 20 years. I mean, that's what he's basically done.
Or 2 months.
Well, yeah, because Newcastle fans are Newcastle fans. How do you feel, Newcastle fans, by the way, about this? They're definitely going to play swashbuckling attacking football. They definitely have the attackers to do that. They have the speed to do that. Eddie Howe doesn't make his sides defensive. He refuses to do that, which will fit Newcastle great because they've tried to defend all season. Brentford's great start to the season has now stopped. They're having a lot harder time. Those 50-50 chances that were going their way are now missing. Those teams getting chances in their box are now putting shots away, which is what was always going to happen, but they banked points. This, to me, looks like a draw, though.
Yeah, I said that a couple of weeks ago about Brentford. Is like when you're playing well and you don't win, that comes back to haunt you because then you're going to have a bad. And I do think their style of play is going to test Newcastle though, because Eddie Howe just plays with such gay abandon. That Brentford's way of just getting the ball forward quickly to Tony and Mbuemo and launch, the way they attack from set pieces. I think that Brentford could cause an upset here, but because I love Eddie Howe so much, I am just going to say Newcastle get their first win. 2-1 Newcastle win.
1-0 draw. It's at this point that I have to very quickly thank you all for watching and ask you to please hit the like button, subscribe, comment below with your predictions. We will talk about them in the next video. But on top of all that, please consider supporting us on Patreon. It pays for our iFollow account. It helps us to do live streaming. And it just shows how much you love us, and we love all of you. So please consider following us on there. And do not forget to go to Grandstand Bettors. They are a fantastic tipster website. They do live streams. They do everything. And sometimes we collaborate with them. So check them out. And without further ado, we're gilding the lily. It is the match of the weekend. Norwich City versus Southampton. Did I get the opening to that game right?
Yeah, you did, but I feel like I can't get as excited for it as you've given now.
Dean,
for some reason.
Okay, look, this is the thing. Dean Smith, what in God's name are you doing? Why have you gone to this club? You're going to lose 20 of the next 25 games you play because the squad ain't good enough. You've also taken Craig Shakespeare with you. Great, clearly you guys are a management team or whatever, but is this really where you wanted to go? Is this really the next step?
And Villa gave you the perfect Christmas.
Yeah.
Shitload of cash, and you don't have to work. And
instead, you're on a flight back from the States now. And
you pick Norwich? Oh, man. And Norwich, I mean, the way you literally almost just stabbed Daniel Farke in the back. Well done, Daniel. Great win. Great win. By the way, here's the door. Don't let it hit you on the way out. And I think Southampton, we haven't not much to say. I think Southampton will beat them. Norwich did get their first win. They looked a lot better, but they were hanging on again at the end of the game. Saints 1-0.
2-0 Saints.
Wolverhampton Wanderers against the apple cart upsetters, the Champions League newbies, surely in the future, West Ham United.
Really quickly, Wolves, after what was a terrible start and something like 40 shots on goal in 4 games without a goal, have completely turned it around. They're now challenging the top half of the table, looking really good. Lage, Lagon, whatever his name is doing a good job with Wolves, and they're playing better attacking football, still having a hard time scoring goals. West Ham United have been fantastic this year. They're really, that Declan Rice in the centre of the park just does so much for them. Mikel Antonio up front is brilliant. Bowen, Fornells, Lanzini, this kind of conglomeration of really tricky fast players has worked out incredibly well. Martin Noble can't even get a game. Gotta go for a West Ham win here, though. They've been absolutely fantastic. They're playing such good football. Even with Bonnet out, I think for the rest of the season, I think they'll be good.
Big loss, that one, now.
2-1 to the Hammers. Stop clapping.
I'm just clapping West Ham. They did so well, and they threw it back in my face when I said they're not top 4 contenders. And David Moyes just basically got a win over Liverpool for the first time since records began.
Yes.
And he's doing great, but the smallness of their squad is going to be tested if they do get some more injuries, but they're going to be too good, as you've already said. What did you say?
2-0. 2-1, I said.
That sounds good. 2-1.
Manchester City versus Everton.
I thought City did all right in the last game, didn't they?
I mean, they barely even needed to turn up to win that. They literally looked like they were coasting for most of it.
They were.
They are such...
I don't even... the end of the game, and they talked about Foden's interview. Yeah. And he wasn't even, out of breath. Didn't look like he'd done anything more than just a training ground exercise.
Yeah, that's what it looked like as a United fan. But City remain one of the best sides on earth, possibly the best side on earth. The only failure they have is they don't always score a lot of goals. I don't think they tried to score goals against Man United. They weren't even, once they were 1-0 ahead with the own goal, they would have been happy to sit back. Everton, Rafa Benitez, it's the second coming. We figured it out. Oh, God, spare me. 4-0 to City.
I think that 0-0 draw with Spurs is one of the worst games of football ever recorded.
It's pretty bad.
It was
pretty bad.
You could have literally put that and said this is a non-league game.
I hear Match of the Day just went completely flat screwed for 2 minutes.
It just showed the score. And you know what they say, if you don't want to know the score, look away now. And the news, they were just like, you don't want to watch this. Here's the score, 0-0.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going to be I think it's going to be another death by 1,000 cuts here. I'm going to go 2-0 City.
I actually think Everton will push City more, and then City will score more goals than Man United will play.
You think so?
Well, I think they'll just try.
But Benitez just does damage limitation in these games. He just likes to keep the goal difference down.
Yeah, but I feel like Townsend and stuff will actually, like Iwobi will try and go on a run and it'll annoy City, so they'll just kind of beat the hell out of
Andy Townsend.
Andy Townsend. Tottenham Hotspur versus Leeds United.
It is a new era for Tottenham, Thomas, but we've yet to see that bear fruit. And after one game in the league, all you can say is Conte's been an abject failure.
Yeah, 1 point from one game. Awful. Absolutely awful. It's going to be really interesting. I think we spoke ad nauseum probably about Conte coming in here, but it's going to be really interesting to see what he does, if he can get a tune out of Harry Kane. Hat-trick hero Harry Kane.
Look, I mean, we were filming this before England have played San Marino, so we don't know if Kane's racked up even more goals, but he'll be encouraged by what he saw with him in an England shirt.
Yeah, of course he will, but it's bloody Albania. Get over it. Leeds, on the other hand...
Harry Maguire is like a born-again Christian after that game. he's come out, all sins are forgiven, so why can't you do the same for Kane? Why are you not prepared to extend the olive branch to Kane, but you are to Maguire? So fucking typical Man United fan, biased towards his own players. They lose 2-0 to City, doesn't even criticise them.
Leeds, on the other hand, have kind of come back into it in the league, but I don't know how because they haven't changed. They're not getting better. I think Bielsa's in serious trouble at Leeds right now. The football is bad. They are playing bad football. They can't counter very well. Players are constantly out of position. They're not pressing as a unit.
Dare I say it, I do think they miss Bamford.
Sorry, one more time?
I know, but
for those in the back.
I've been giving him a bit of slagging off. I talked about Antonio for West Ham being a focal point. I do think Bamford does that job.
Shocked to hear that.
Well, he couldn't score past against San Marino, could he? So, but
he's had one game. He got hauled off after 60 minutes.
Look, well, unlike you, I am prepared to give praise where I've past criticised. So I will say that I think Leeds will still be okay. There's always going to be question marks about Bielsa because people think he's got this record of being only there for a few seasons. This is the longest job he's ever had.
Barely ever won anything. That's the real thing about Bielsa to me. Is everyone acts like he's a saint and Pep's like he's my hero. It doesn't win anything.
Yeah, and he's a short. Most of the time he's short-term projects, isn't he? So a bit like Conte. So are we going for a Spurs win here? I think we probably are, aren't we?
1-0.
Yeah.
Ain't going to be goals in this.
2-0 Spurs. I think I'll go second.
I've said there aren't going to be goals in this. Cue a 9-game goal fest because that's what happens.
Of course.
But Ian, we end the weekend with quite clearly the premier fixture because it is Liverpool versus Arsenal.
Not just Arsenal, Thomas. Unbeaten Arsenal. Not a side this season has been able to lay a glove on them. Not Brentford. Not Chelsea. Not Manchester City. All of these clubs have come and all of these clubs have fallen to Arteta, who doesn't get the credit he deserves for taking a side from the bottom of League 2
oh mate, they're a national team,
to literally Europa Conference League contenders.
Yeah, they are. You know what the best part is? They're only contenders because they're Arsenal. They're not even favourites. They're genuinely not even favourites. They're on a real good run right now. But we talked about this pre-match while we were just having a walk. Smith Rowe and Saka are great. Aubameyang is clearly can be world class, but they've had so many games where they've just about scraped through. And I'm as afraid for them against Liverpool as I was for Man United against Liverpool, and that they lack the solidity to hold out Mane, Salah, Jota, and Firmino at full pace. This Liverpool side, it's Liverpool and City are probably the two best sides in the world. Liverpool, City, and Chelsea even might be the three best sides in the world right now. It's just incredible play from them week in, week out. There's minor blips happen. It's football, but Liverpool look unplayable this year. Salah and Mane. It's just unreal.
I can't remember Arsenal going to Anfield and not getting a pasting in recent years. And this is an angry Liverpool side after they feel they were robbed against West Ham. So they will be going for it against Arsenal. And this is a huge test for Arteta's newly formed side, and we'll see how they get on. But I can't help but go for Liverpool. I think they'll win. What are you saying? I've changed my mind. Arsenal to win. 2-1 Gunners. Come on!
On that completely insane point from this madman to my left. Thank you for watching. Please put your scores below. We will discuss them the following week. Maybe we'll even make a table at some point. Subscribe. Please follow us on Patreon. Check out Grandstand Betters, and we'll see you for League One predictions tomorrow.